Thank you, Greta.
Senator, I know politics is a rather unusual and peculiar game to many of us in America, but I must confess I'm a little perplexed in light of your 2008 ad in which you pretty hard go at Governor Romney for being a flip-flopper on choice versus life and on guns, and also where he says he doesn't want to go back. In 1994, he said he didn't want to go back to the Reagan years. I don't fully understand how you can endorse him today and now.
Well, Greta, I don't expect you to keep up with everything that I do in politics, but the fact is that as soon as that campaign was over, he and I and our families spent time together. We had excellent meetings together. No one worked harder on behalf of my campaign than Mitt Romney. He went any place at any time to help us in our campaign. He has campaigned hard. He brings, in my view, the credentials that are necessary to be the President of the United States. But long ago, any differences that we had in the 2008 campaign were resolved, and I'm very grateful for all the work he did on my behalf, and he continues to do on behalf of the country by standing for the nomination of our party.
You know, I can get that. I mean, I can even understand sort of the brutal nature. I know that during 2008 you called him a manager, not a leader, and I can understand that sort of, burying the hatchet. But what you were going after him in that ad was a little bit more than just being a nice guy or a good campaigner. You said on very important issues to your party that he had changed, and not just minor changes, but big changes. And that's different.
Well, Greta, again, I want to say there were strong differences between President Reagan and then George H.W. Bush, and he made him his running mate. There are many times where people have spirited campaigns, and we did have a spirited campaign, and this will be a spirited campaign. And after that campaign is over, we come together because we share the same values and principles that we want to, in order to ensure this nation's future. I am telling you that long time ago, any differences between myself and Governor Romney were resolved. And again, I'll always be grateful for the way he rallied behind me as soon as that primary was over. So, look, tough things. Politics and campaigns aren't beanbag. But the fact is that I'm grateful for what he's done for me, and I'm proud of the way that he's performed so far.
I don't mean to corner you, but do you stand by the factual statements in that 2008 campaign? Because it's not so much like, is he my friend? Is he a good guy? But whether, did he change his positions profoundly, and has he adequately explained that to you?
Well, of course, he's adequately explained many of his positions to me, but the facts are that we had differences on certain issues, and we had differences in spirited campaign. But we share the same principles, the same values, the same belief in the free enterprise system, the same belief in a strong national defense. All of those fundamental principles we share together, and they never were any different. But we certainly did have differences. That's why we campaigned against each other. But we were good, strong, conservative Republicans. I'm proud of my record, and he's proud of his record.
You bring up defense. I suppose you know the news today, President Obama making an announcement at the Pentagon about cuts to the defense. Your thoughts on that, sir?
Well, I'll be glad to examine some of his proposals. I know we have to make reductions, but I worry more about the conduct of our overall national security policy, leading from behind. This desertion of Iraq when we needed to leave behind a residual force. This announcement to withdraw from Afghanistan, which according to written reports that caused General Petraeus almost to at least to consider resigning. I don't know if it's true or not. That's what the reports were. This is not a leader on national security. Every place I go in the world, this president is believed to be weak, and America is perceived to be withdrawing. And that's what I worry about more than anything else. The weakest leadership we've had on national security since Jimmy Carter. Wasn't his strategy that he's laying out today very similar to Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld pre-9/11, that we could win everything apparently by air and by sea? And are we sort of revisiting ourselves and putting us back into that sort of question about what we really want our military to be, or what we need it to be? Well, I think that it's appropriate to turn a lot of our attention to the Asia-Pacific region. We all know about the rise of China. We want China to be a peaceful entrant on the stage as a world power, but at the same time, some of their actions have clearly indicated that, including, by the way, their continue to propping up North Korea, that they are not mature entrants into the world scene. So I understand that part. But it's not only having the military capability, but it's projecting world leadership. This president is leading from behind. Let me just one of the most graphic examples that historians will be very, very scornful of, and that is when, after the flawed elections, the corrupt elections in Iran, 1.5 million people in Tehran demonstrated in the streets. We watched a young woman named Netta bleed to death in the streets of Tehran, and they were chanting. The demonstrators were, "Obama, Obama, are you with us or are you with them?" And Obama's statement was, "I don't want to jeopardize the opportunity to negotiate with the Iranian Islamic Republic." That, in my view, was a terrible mistake, and we've paid a heavy price for it in a lot of places.
I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but I want to see if I understand you correctly. Are you saying that the President and the Secretary of Defense are sending a message by what they said today and by what they plan to do that we are becoming less strong in the world? Are we telling our enemies that we're going to be less forceful? Or is that overstating it?
No, what I'm saying is today, with some of these cutbacks in defense are very necessary and adjust to new realities in the world, including our withdrawals in some parts of the world. But what I'm saying is the national security policy, leading from behind, saying that you want to withdraw, overruling time after time your military advisors on how to conduct the conflict in both Iraq and Afghanistan. It is the lack of leadership and the incredible weakness that America is displaying that I worry about more than, frankly, the kind of hardware that we have today.
All right, if we take right now and we take the trajectory of what the President and the Secretary of Defense intend to do, are we going to be weaker or stronger 1 year from now and 2 years from now?
I think we will have less capability. I don't think there's any doubt. But I do agree that there's different kinds of theaters of operation which require more naval and air power. And we can afford to draw down some of our both Army and Marine Corps. And so there are certain areas that I agree with them. But what I worry about is, I repeat, the message we send to the world when we announce withdrawals and when we say we're going to lead from behind, and our failure to, as Ronald Reagan did, to inspire those people that are struggling and seeking freedom and their God-given rights.
Senator, thank you. Nice to see you, sir.
Thanks, Greta.